So hello YouTube friends, I've got all this leaf beet now that's gone to seed, and I'm going to pick off the usable leaves. Even if they're quite small, I'm going to pick them off, and then these will go in the compost bucket, and that probably will be the last picking I get from these this year. Now I'm doing this because I'm going to make one of my favourite things to make. It's years since I made it. It's called Spanakopita. Bless you. Tonight my brother's coming for dinner. It hardly ever happens. It's such a long way for him to come, but he works all over the place, and sometimes when he works in my part of the world he comes to visit me, which I love. And so tonight I'm making a lovely meal for him and my son and his wife, and I'm really looking forward to it. So I'm going to pick over all of these. I'm going to put them in this huge pan, give them all a really good wash, and then they can go into the onion mixture, and I'll show you that when I get to that point. I think I've collected together everything that I need here. The spinach leaf beet has boiled down all of that leaf beet that I picked over. Is this much now, and I've got it in my sieve over this bowl so that I can drain out as much water as possible, because we want this mixture to be quite dry. So I'll just put that back there. In here then is the onions that I chopped and sweated down, and I've got some of my parsley here. Parsley's going to go in, some feta cheese. Feta cheese is salty, so when I get to the bit where I put the salt in, I'll taste it first, just to check that I'm not making it too salty. I'm just going to crumble it up, and I've got a second packet in case I think I need 2 packets. Now the spinach then, leaf beet, we know what I mean here. I've just steamed it down with barely any water at all, but I want to chop it quite finely, and it also needs to have a little bit of nutmeg in there. That makes it taste great. So about maybe, I don't know, maybe 1/4 of a nutmeg. Now this is a pretty butter heavy recipe, this one, no surprise. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the butter in this tiny pan and put that on top of I lit my wood burning stove this morning. So I'm just going to put that on top of the stove just so that it will melt down. Now this can have some pepper in, but I might taste it before I put the salt in. So in that goes. We're just going to mix that, all that gorgeous goodness around. This is going to be the filling for the little parcels I'm going to make. I'm going to put the other packet of cheese in. Tastes great. I'm just going to put a bit more pepper in, and I'm going to actually put a little bit of salt in, because that feta cheese, although it's salty, it's not too salty. And we'll get ready for the next part. So I brought you in a little bit closer to do this next part. When I went to buy the filo pastry yesterday, they didn't have the sort I usually get, so I've never used this one before. So fingers crossed that it works. Here it is. It's amazing stuff, filo pastry. If you've never used it before, have a go. It dries out incredibly quickly, so I'm going to lay it on this tea towel, and I'm going to cover it over with another tea towel so that it doesn't have a chance to get too dried out while I'm making each one. So I'll just go and get that butter. So 1 sheet of filo, that's 2. Cover it over so it doesn't dry out, and then it makes a lovely flaky, buttery, crunchy pastry. Loads of different ways you can use this. This is my favourite. So I guess I could fold it in half. Then in half again. And get my little dollop of mixture, less than you think. And then fold it at right angles to make this little parcel. And the butter kind of seals it up. It's not the kind of thing you want to eat every day, but for a special occasion, which it is today, once a year, eat this amount of butter. So I'm just going to keep going now until the whole packet is used up. I think it's going to be the filo I run out of, not the filling. But I've got 2 extra packets, which will go in the freezer if I don't use them. So that's okay. Do with my board being a bit wider, couldn't I? I'm going to come up with a different way of doing this. How about if I paint half of it and then fold it over? Yeah, that's going to work. That's good. Okay, I'm going to just keep going with these all morning. Then I won't cook them. I'll put them in the fridge and I'll cook them just before we want to eat them. I'll put them in the oven, a hot oven, for maybe 10-15 minutes. It won't need more than that. And they'll be golden and crunchy and delicious. And I'm serving it with, well, salad, because I've got lots of salad in the garden. And I was going to serve it with butternut squash. My daughter came yesterday and I was asking what would she recommend. She's such a good cook. All my kids are fabulous cooks. They really are. I mean, but she makes her living at cooking. She's a baker and they do catering and all sorts. So yeah, I'm going to just paint half of it and put the other half over. That's going to work, isn't it? Yeah, that's going to work. So I said, what should I serve with this? And she had this great idea to serve roasted butternut squash with pumpkin seeds, roasted pumpkin seeds sprinkled over the top. So I've just been to my local shop, which is about 3 miles away. I wasn't going to drive all the way into the main supermarket because that's just a bit too far, 8 miles. But my little shop's about 3 miles away. But the problem with it being a little shop is it didn't have any butternut squash. So instead we're going to have I'll pick over the last of my potatoes and I'll make a big bowl of potatoes with parsley. Yeah, we'll have that. The big salad and as many of these as people want. So guys, I'm just going to carry on and do this. I'll make another couple because they're fun, aren't they? And this stuff, filo pastry, is available in big supermarkets, delicatessens, all kinds of places. And it's just so easy to use, sweet or savoury. But this is my favourite thing to make with it. I'll show you what they look like when they're cooked later. So I've made one whole tray there, 8, and that would be 2 each, wouldn't it? But I've got so much mixture left. I bought 3 packets of filo, and there's still quite a lot underneath here. So I'm going to just keep going and going and going, because I'm guessing you can freeze these, and I could just take 1 or 2 out of the freezer when I wanted some supper. That's what I'm going to do. So I'll see if I can do it sitting down, and I can chat to you at the same time. Okay, so there's still loads left in this packet, and I'll just talk to you about what's behind me, because yesterday I've been doing all the indigo dyeing for the big curtains I want to make, and yesterday I just threw a few up there just to see what they would look like. They're not in any particular order. The idea is that they'll just be very random and sewn together with this enclosed seam, which means they'll be 1 layer thick, so that then the sun will shine through them. And then the marvellous thing that indigo does, it will fade very, very beautifully over time, which I love about indigo, so that they'll become very, very faded and look like they've been there for years. So that's just the first, me chucking up the first lot of squares to see how they look. I'm quite pleased with them. I'll have a go at sewing them together. I'll need a good old run of rainy days so that I don't have to feel guilty about not being in the garden. If you feel like having a go at this, do tell me how it works out for you. So easy, isn't it? It's a very satisfying shape, the triangle. I really enjoy it when I'm quilting as well. I've still got loads and loads of mixture left. Okay, here it comes like this, and I'm going to lay it out on the, undo it like this very carefully, it's wrapped in paper, and there's all the pile of sheets there, and I'm going to lay it out on the tea towel next to me and cover it up with this clean tea towel. In fact, it's a brand new tea towel, I seem to notice there. Okay, I'm going to keep going. I'll come back to you when I finish them all. You don't want to watch me do this all morning.
They look good.
Well, I hope they're going to taste good. I think everyone will enjoy them. There are plenty.
Right, that's better. Thank you. Freshened up.
Have you got changed?
Yeah, I have.
Good lad.
How's Guysy doing?
Rubbish. Well, they've improved a little bit.
Were they relegate last season?
Yeah, yeah.
So now they're in Conference North again.
That's right.
But they're not doing well in there.
No, they lost quite a few. They were